welcome back to today's video. Today I'll be talking about 5+ tips to how to get straight A's in 2021. Disclaimer, this is not for bragging rights. These tips has personally just helped me, and I just want to share all my tips for you guys who are just wants to maintain good grades. So obviously not all these tips will work for you guys, and I just hope you can get something out of watching this video. So let's go on to the video. The first tip is to have a good relationship with your teachers. Having a good relationship with your teacher is really helpful if you're planning to get extra help or something to boost your grade. It's really more handy if you guys need recommendation letters. They can obviously help you since they know you really well, and I feel like this is a good impact to at least have one close teacher in your life so you can rely on and ask them for all the help you ever need. Since we are in a remote learning, I recommend introducing yourself to your teachers either in a private Zoom chat, call, whatever, or just by emailing them. Also, and hear me out, even if you actually don't like the teacher, it's important to at least pretend you like them and are interested into their life, because trust me, there was this really one bad teacher that my entire class did not like, and myself personally, I did not like the teacher. Their teaching was really not good, and such as their personality, but I put that aside and I tried my best in that class, and I just tried being nice to them even if they wouldn't be nice to me back. But I feel if you just get on their good side, it will be a great thing to do. But the main point is that just be nice and kind to your teachers, because I feel they might have a backstory struggling, you don't know, but be like me, just put all the problems they do aside and just focus on what you really need to do, which is maintaining your good grade. Another tip that is related to maintaining a good relationship with your teachers is when you're absent, reach out to your teachers. Well, first, try not to be absent very much, because makeup work is very time consuming when you have to teach yourself all of the topics, except if you're in remote learning, your teachers most likely will post the lessons and such, but if they don't, you're in struggle. But anyways, if you reach out to your teachers before a planned absence, you might even get a head start on all of that work, which leads us on to the next tip. The second tip is planning plus time management. Planning is really depending on your personality. Do what is effective for you in this case. When I plan too much ahead, it tends to lead me to stress, but I know that for some people, planning is very important. Whatever the case is, make sure you always have some system in place to be able to remember tomorrow's homework or that upcoming test or quiz. That could be simply writing down in a notebook, sending a reminder on your phone, either on Google Calendars or Notion, which is the app I use to organize all my schoolwork and assignments and such. If you have really great memory and just not forgetting, I still certainly suggest writing it down somewhere, because it's okay if you forget one thing, but I feel there's always gonna be that one thing that's in the back of our heads and we just can't remember. So yeah, this one's a bit irresponsible, but I know most people have class group chats, and I do too, and we can all just go on the group chats and ask for help and homework, and I feel that is a good way to connect and be friends with everyone. For time management, all I can say is that it's very important to manage your time well. This is not just in regards to assignments, but to your personal life as well. Don't live for grades. Make sure you make time for friends, family, and especially extracurriculars. These are extremely important when you're applying to colleges. Have the wisdom to determine and when you should do your assignments. Like I said, one method won't work for everyone, so figure out what works for you in regards to time management. Third tip I have for you guys is to actually do the homework and all the extra credit if you have the choice to do it. If you're aiming for a 4.0 GPA, you really can't skip out on homework. Homework is a small but a vital part of getting good grades and gives you such good practice. Is there extra credit on your test, quiz, assignment, or your homework? All I can say is yes, do it. Always do extra credit and corrections if your teacher lets you. Don't always treat these as a lesson about or optional, treat as an obligatory. Extra credit can easily be a difference between an A and a B, and it'll boost your grade and get more practice. The fourth tip is to try your very best to not procrastinate. Hey guys, I'm gonna say something controversial right here. I am a huge procrastinator. I always do my projects and homework almost last minute when I'm really under stress, and for some reason I tend to do much work more better under stress, as if you're eating and you're watching Netflix, stress eating. and you're doing your homework at the same time, like, I feel like I just get my work done that way, quicker and faster for some reason. Procrastination is, in a way, intentional because when I procrastinate, I tend to do my work much done quicker and better than if I were to do it the second I receive it. This stems from a crazy perfectionist. I know that if I allow myself to have enough time, will take hours on everything, rechecking, checking, to make sure it's absolutely perfect. I feel like this is a waste of time. For 4.0, not everything has to be perfect. It just has to be good enough to get an A. If this is not your mindset, however, I strongly advise against procrastination. If it doesn't help you, it can only hurt you. Moral of the story, figure out through trial and error which strategies work best for you. Tip number 5, be the best you can be. Yes, do the best you can reasonably do, but don't work so hard that it results burnout or strains on your relationships. Learn from my experience. Overworking yourself can never go well. One thing I always try to remember is work smart and not hard. Put in effort, but if there's a legitimate, beneficial way you can cut on this effort and don't hesitate. This is not me telling you to cheat, and don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to say, if you find a way to exploit the system without being against the rules, go for it. Effort is very important, but brute forcing your way to get a 4.0 GPA is not worth the time. And getting good grades is more about strategy than smarts. Tip number 6, ask questions and ask for help. When asking for questions, don't be afraid to ask them if you don't understand something. I'm a fairly shy person, but I realize that in the long run, it's more beneficial if you just put yourself out there. This also ties into the first one. If you ask a lot of questions, it shows your teachers that you care, genuinely, and tend to make them like you more. Asking for help is basically the same when asking questions, but yes, if you don't understand something, don't be afraid to ask your teacher or your friends or your class group chat. Second tip is to pay attention in class. What can I say? This is extremely important. Paying attention in class will significantly reduce the amount of effort you put forth outside of class. Since you are going to be stuck in the same class with nothing to do for the next 30 to 80 minutes, why not learn something while you're there? You will have more time to talk with your friends and goof off in the long run, and you won't have to reread your entire textbook 50 times where at home. And usually at the end of class, if you guys have more time, the teachers will let you play and goof around such even too. Also in class, just take notes when you're learning something, write down the important things that they're saying, bullet points, and this will lead us to the next tip. Tip number 8, take good effective notes. If you guys haven't already, I also have about a few videos about taking good effective notes on my channel, and they will be up in the cards about right now, and check them out. And yeah, to take good notes, you don't need those extra fancy supplies, but what you really need is a notebook, a colorful highlighter, a black pen, and a pencil. I know most people can't afford mild liners, those fancy mechanical shaker pens, those expensive whiteouts, and Zebra Sarasa clip pens because they're very expensive, but a switch up for those is just a regular cheap Dollar Tree spiral notebook, a regular Papermate black pen that's very basic, and just some cheap highlighter that you have, and just a regular pencil. One of the best effective good ways that studies have shown is taking Cornell notes. So first off, you want to take your pencil and you want to draw a line down the notebook, but not centered, more 1/4 of the notebook. And then you want to title your notes whatever the topic you're talking about, and just highlight it so you can see the title. Then you would usually write the essential question on top or below the title-ish, but for me apparently I didn't have one, but it's okay. And then on the left side of the margin, you want to write questions, vocabs, or anything related, And then to the right side, you want to write the answers or take bullet points, something that is related to the questions. And for vocabs, you put the name of the vocabs on the left, and on the right, you will put the definition. This is an example of me taking my STEM chemistry notes for chemical bonding. Very last tip for you guys is to study and learn from your mistakes. When studying, you want to try to retrieve all the information you know before the test. If you don't know the stuff, I'm sure you're not going to do well. I also have 2 videos about studying related, and it's in the cards right now. You guys can take good notes, review your notes, reread your textbooks, annotate them, and just write summaries of the textbooks reading. You guys can also do flashcards, which that's the video I recently did. You guys can also use this Quizlet app. I love this app. It's like such a good app to use when you're like wanting to study words, vocabs, taking quizzes and everything. And no, this video is not sponsored by them. You guys can also use the app Study Bunny, which I have the app talked about many times on my YouTube channel, but you guys can go check them out in the cards right now. If you guys happen to fail a test, and just learn from your mistakes, like study what you did wrong, study how you can do better and such, reread your notes, do everything, and basically what I just repeated from before. You guys can also re-look through your homework, your quizzes, and previous tests so you can learn from those. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this tip and the entire video. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure to like and comment down below any ideas you guys have for future videos, and make sure to subscribe. Bye!